Good morning. I don't even know if anyone was awake to watch my live Facebook, but I figured I have a few minutes of quiet, so I would share a couple thoughts with you. So yesterday, I was driving in my car. Whenever I'm in my car, I'm listening to some kind of personal development. I know. Have you figured out I'm really passionate about this personal development stuff? It will completely change your life. So I have XM radio in my car so I can listen to Joel Osteen because he's really positive, and I had this I was really judgmental towards him before I actually took time to listen to him. But he's really just about your words have power and speaking things into existence and how you've just got to be positive, right, in your life. So anyways, I love Joel Osteen, but yesterday I was actually listening to a podcast and he said this quote, this statement in the podcast that struck me, and I keep thinking about it. I've been meditating on it. I just journaled about it, and how your biggest overhead in life is your ego. And I usually feel like it's fear, right? Like whenever I think of what's holding me back in my life, it's always been fear. I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. It's never gone away. It's something that I've learned to manage using essential oils and the power of my thoughts and exercise. But I'm just an anxious person. Like, it's who I am. It's in my DNA. It's just who I am, right? I'm an overthinker. I have to analyze things. Like, I really struggle with anxiety. So I've always thought fear was my biggest obstacle. But as I was listening to this podcast yesterday, he was talking about how it's ego. And ego is just there to protect you, right? So I guess in some ways it kind of goes hand in hand with fear. You know, ego doesn't want you to look like an idiot. It doesn't want you to make mistakes. Like, your ego is kind of keeping you in a bubble. Hey, Nicole. So I heard this quote yesterday, and it said that ego is your biggest overhead. And that's just really struck me because it's true, right? Like, your ego, it's there to protect you. It's there to keep you not looking like a total yahoo, right? And so I've been thinking about that a lot. I heard it yesterday, and I just journaled about it right now. And it's true. For so long in my life, I avoided doing things because A, I was afraid of failure, and B, I just really didn't want to look foolish. And lately, I've been feeling certain nudges to talk about certain things, but I'm like, oh, no, like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to, like, inundate my Facebook peeps. I don't want to come across like I'm trying to sell anything, but I'm just like, that's just ego. Like, if you know who I am, if you know my heart, like, I'm authentically genuine. Wow, that's a lot of big words for this early. I need more coffee. But no, like, I genuinely want other people to find their passion, and I want other people to rock their lives, and I want other people to break up with fear and anxiety and all the things holding you back, because your life is supposed to be epic. Your life is meant for greatness, and if you just spend the whole thing that goes by so fast, right? How are we already halfway through 2017? If you spend your entire life playing it safe, waiting for things to line up, waiting for a sign or for opportunity or whatever, it's going to pass you by, and then you're going to look back and you're going to be like, dang it, like, why didn't I listen to my gut? Why didn't I just try? Like, what was the worst that happened? So today, if that's you, if you're playing it safe, if you're sitting on the sidelines watching other people and you're thinking, why not me? Or why can't I do that? Or when's my opportunity? This is your opportunity right now. Break up with your ego and break up with your anxiety or your fear or your self-limiting beliefs or whatever, and just make it freaking happen. So yesterday, somebody posted on one of my really old pictures, someone that we went to high school with, and he referenced a comment that was said to him, not by myself, but by someone else, and it really has apparently tormented him for all these years. Like, this year is my 20-year high school reunion, and this would have happened probably longer ago than that, and that made me so sad for that person that they have held on to that mean, stupid comment for all these years. But I think a lot of us do that. And what I've been learning, the more I do my personal development and the more I dig into uncomfortable stuff and the more I break up with my fear and my anxiety, I guess it's not so much breaking up with my fear and anxiety because they're still here. They're still in my car, right? They're on my bus, but I'm in charge here, and I get to decide what I'm going to think about and where my energy is going to go. And yeah, those things are going to surface, but I'm going to be like, listen, I'm in charge here, and I'm not a victim. I'm not going to, like, focus on all of my shortcomings or all of my lack or all of that. I'm going to focus on the things that give me power and energy and drive me towards greatness. So anyways, I digress. Back to this sad story, right? This person has festered and has thought about that for years. for years, 20-something years, like we're adults now. And I was thinking about that and how so many of us have had something like that happen, right? Like a parent says something unkind, or a teacher, or maybe you have a friendship that falls apart because you misinterpret something, or someone's unkind probably because they're having a shitty day or they're just struggling in some area of their life. But here's the thing. As an adult, like kids are different, right? And when things happen as kids, you don't have the prefrontal cortex to like process all of that. But once you become an adult, it is your responsibility. If something has happened to you, even if it wasn't your fault, if you have suffered something or something has impacted you negatively, it is your responsibility to deal with that. Not just to polish it and think about it and say, oh, poor me, this is so sad, I was wronged, or this happened and I can't succeed, and let those people say those self-limiting things to you. That is your choice to carry that around in your purse or your man bag or whatever. So I'm telling you that if you've had something like that happen to you, if there's something that you keep bringing up in your mind and you keep polishing it and saying, oh, they said this about me, it must be true, or I'm not good enough, or it's just, I feel so bad that that thing was said. Get over yourself and go get therapy. For a long time, I've done therapy off and on throughout the years, and for a while, I'll admit, I kind of had some weird, like, I was kind of a weird stigma, but we went through a really scary experience with our oldest years ago, where she was really struggling with anxiety. Where does she get that? I don't know. And she was really struggling with it, and so we did some family therapy, and she did a lot of therapy, and she learned some epic, amazing tools that she's going to rock her life, that she's gotten some, like, coping mechanisms and some, like, self-truthisms already under her belt at freaking 9, right? The kid's going to be an epic rock star. I just don't. But anyway, then I finally was like, you know what? I have some of my own garbage that I keep bringing up. I keep polishing it. I keep rehashing it and rethinking about it and wasting my energy and allowing that to be a self-limiting belief, because I was allowing it, just like you're allowing it if you're still chewing on it and pondering it and thinking about it and, oh, poor me. So I did therapy. I did some therapy. We had an amazing therapist, and she helped me see things just from a different perspective. That's what a good therapist is, right? They're not there to really give you advice, I don't think. I think they're just there to help you shift your perspective and to see things in a different way, to take yourself out of it, to take the emotion out of it, and to just see it objectively, and to give you tools to freaking rock your life. Whoa. Dude, so anyways, my hope for that person that's still struggling with something that happened like 20-something years ago is that they get some therapy, that they talk to someone, that they stop just rehashing it, because your life is never going to improve if you don't actively take steps to make it happen. So, a couple thoughts today. Drive your own freaking bus. If you're struggling with something, if someone said something that cut you really deep, I am not making light of that. I understand. I've been on the receiving end of things like that, and it really sucks. But here's the amazing thing, my friends. We're the driver of our bus. We get to change our focus. We get to change the stories in our head. And so maybe today you need to change the story in your head. I've changed the story in my head over and over and over because I'm still a work in progress. I'm still dealing with anxiety. I'm still dealing with fear. I'm still dealing with self-limiting belief. Next week, Wednesday, I get on an airplane by myself and I'm traveling across the country to meet one of my best friends who I've never met in real life. And I have all kinds of anxiety around that. And I could be dwelling on all of that. I could be dwelling on the fact that I'm going to this big Beachbody convention thing, and I had set these crazy big goals for myself last year. I was confident. I've meditated on it. I've journaled about it. I've worked my tail feathers off for it, and I'm not where I wanted to be. And so I've been struggling with that this last week, with not feeling good enough, with not feeling like I'm making a big enough difference, and all that. But if I take myself out of it, if I take my ego out of it, I haven't failed. I'm still working on me, and that's what this whole thing that I do is all about. It's about working on yourself. It's about your own journey, because you can't fill other people's cups unless you fill your own. Just like when you're on the airplane and they say, in case of like, something happens, the oxygen masks are going to drop down, you need to put on your own mask before you can help other people, right? And that's what I do. Yeah, I come on here and I share my thought bubbles of the day, and I share my workouts and stuff, and I message a lot of you to see if you want to join my upcoming groups, which I have one starting on the 17th. You should join me. Shameless plug. But it's not about that, right? What it comes down to, what I do as a coach, is working on my own journey. And maybe you benefit from that. Maybe I share something that speaks to you. Maybe you feel convicted, or you feel inspired, or you're like, okay, I'm going to tell myself my truths. If she can do it, if Ding Dong over there with the unicorn horn can do it, I can do it. You can do it, is the moral of the story. But you have to choose to do it, and you have to show up to your own journey. So I'll get off my soapbox now. But if any of you are stuck and you're ready to make a change and you're ready to break up with your self-limiting beliefs and you're ready to invest in yourselves, not just with money, but with time and positive thought and energy, because it does take energy to rewire all of this. Like, however long you've been alive, you've had certain mantras. There's been certain self-limiting beliefs that maybe someone else planted that seed. Maybe a teacher or a parent or a friend or a bully. Maybe somebody said something to you somewhere along the way that you've carried around. But it's your decision to keep shining that and to keep thinking and meditating and dwelling on it. Rock your freaking life. Nobody else is the driver of your bus. So today, remember, the ego is your biggest overhead. It's the thing that's probably standing in your way. It's probably the reason you haven't said yes to me if we've been chatting for a while and I've been inviting you to my amazing, inspiring groups. It's probably the reason that you haven't made a big change in your life. It's probably the one thing that's holding you back. And I always thought it was fear, but really, it's ego. It's being good enough. It's looking smart enough. It's all those ways you appear to other people. And it doesn't matter how you appear to other people anymore. This is what I'm realizing. There's some saying, you know, like you go through life thinking that everyone's paying attention to you, but they're not. They're self-absorbed, hence Facebook, hence social media. It's just a highlight reel. Everyone's trying to share how fantastic they are. They're all trying to shine the spotlight. Hopefully, I'm doing an okay job at sharing with you that it's not all highlight reels, that there is bad words and there is laundry piles I can't get caught up on and there's full litter boxes and all of that. So today, rock your freaking life. Say yes to opportunities that you've been saying no to because you're too scared or you're embarrassed or you have all these fears. Get out of your own freaking way and rock your freaking life. And if you are just stuck and you can't just change your mantra, get some help. It's not a bad thing. It's not a sign of weakness. I think going for help is a sign of strength because it shows you want to get better every single day at rocking your freaking life. And that's what this is all about. Believe in yourself, rock your freaking life, and say yes to amazing opportunities that are waiting for you. Happy Sunday, friends.